Hey everybody, this is Herbiderp here with the EP1 Mafia. Now, I am really tired today. I do apologize. However, we want to start going into some of the videos because I've been doing the drift benchmark videos and I've been doing some of the derpy hour. One of my buddies was actually asking if I could make a how-to drift series. So I figured, you know what, let's just do it. Let's just do it. Let's do it. So pretty much for us to do the basics here, let's just kind of start off with what the best way to start is. So there's a lot of different ways that you can start, and there's a lot of different things that you can try first. I think when you're trying to just start learning how to drift, the best thing to do is to avoid adding complication. Less is more. You know, you want to learn how to just feel for it. You want to learn how to just go with the flow. At first, you don't really know a lot of how the car is going to act. You don't know a lot of how the car needs to be tuned. You don't really know that much on there. So as you can see, I picked the Corvette ZR1 from 2009. Now, in every Forza game I've ever played, this is like a factory-built drift machine. No upgrades needed, no tuning needed. You just buy it, get in it, and hit the track and you're sideways. That easy. So I figured let's go ahead and start that. So one of the things I'd recommend doing is if you go into your assists, I recommend having it close to, if not the same as mine. Now, the ABS, some people prefer that off. When it comes to drifting, I like it being on because then your car is less likely to slide and it's more likely to correct when you slam on the brakes if you're going too fast into a corner. Probably don't want simulation steering right away. It's something that you can work into. You definitely want traction and stability off because those are the things that are in-game filters that help you not crash. I like to think of drifting as a controlled crash. At some point, when you're drifting, you will crash. The question isn't whether you will, it's a matter of when. That's all I have to say. Now for shifting, no automatic. Automatic in the game does not work. And now I'm not saying you have to be an expert driver. You don't have to do manual clutch. I think manual and clutch gives you a pinch more control than just regular manual. But automatic will not work well because the game will refuse to go to the next gear to give you more power because your car's not going fast enough for the RPMs to make sense. Because it's not where the automatic shifts up to the next gear when the red line hits. It shifts up to the next gear when you're going a specific speed. So the reason why automatic sucks is because you could have a billion horsepower Bugatti Chiron, for example, and you can be bouncing off the rev limiter sideways at 60 miles an hour in first gear, yet you're on a really big wide bank, yet because you're still bouncing off the rev limiter, it won't go into the second gear to let you go 110 through it, even though drifting you're bouncing off the rev limiter. That's why automatic doesn't work, because the way that the game decides to shift is not drift friendly. However, if you do manual, you get the option to select your gear and you can go to wherever you feel you need the most power, and I can get into that a little bit more later, but that's one where I recommend manual or manual with clutch. If you're not comfortable with clutch, forget about it. You don't need that shit, but I recommend it. Now obviously to start off, you probably don't want simulation damage on, probably because if you tap a wall, shit breaks. Pretty much. So that's pretty much what I have there. It's kind of a quick little recap as to why. As you can see, I'm in the exact same car I was recommending you guys to get, the Corvette ZR1 from 2009. It's not that expensive of a car. I think the game has the Corvettes a little overpriced. Like, to buy this was like 200 and some thousand, and I'm like, a Corvette brand new like is 110 max, and that's like the entry level is like a $50,000 car. So I don't. Forza is really weird with their car pricing, because a car that in real life costs $2.6 million is like $1.5 million, and an Indy car which is like a $2 million race car to build and develop. They sell for like $400,000, and it's like, really? No. Yeah, so a track that'd be really easy to just pick up and learn on would be the Indianapolis Grand Prix Classic. That's one where this track here is really wide. Like you could get like 3 people drifting side by side, bumper to bumper, and there's almost enough room for that. Now, when you think about some of the other tracks where, like the Nürburgring, for example, there's a lot of the Nürburgring where it's like you would have to, you wouldn't be able to slip past them with a condom on. I said it.
Herp ain't going PG today. No, I fucking signed it.
So one of the things here, as we're going up on the track, is you got to pay attention to the speed. You don't necessarily need to go fast. Oh, well, I broke my taillight. Really? I could understand the far right one busting the lens out, right? I was like a rub. But to take out the whole brakes, fuck that. I ain't smelling that. Anyway, like I was saying, speed is not always everything. You have to focus on control. Now, when you go up to a higher gear, you are capable of doing higher speeds. But there's also a little bit more that you have to pay attention to. Like whether or not your car has enough power. Now, on the Corvette, we're kind of lucky. It comes out of the factory door with more horsepower than most cars in the game. Like, just hands down. But that's kind of why I think this is a great out-of-the-box car, because you don't have to do any engine tuning or suspension tuning, it just works. Now, kind of why it would be great is if we were to try and do a quick little example of why automatic sucks. So right now, I'm trying to do this drift in like 60 miles an hour, right? Well, that was a really shitty example because it actually drifted. Alright, so the reason why automatic sucks is because you're in an automatic, right? You're bouncing off the rev limiter. You would be doing this around corners a lot. Every once in a while you might get a little tire squeal or a couple hundred points to pop up. But you wouldn't get ass loads of power to the wheels because you're already going as fast as you can in that gear. And you're bouncing off the rev limiter, but the game won't change gear. So, some slow corners you might be able to make magic happen if you whip it hard, and depending on the car. The Corvette here, it's just really easy to go sideways in. But, so kind of going into power management, you also need to keep in mind that the gear you're in does play a huge role, not just for the automatic bullshit, but just the whole, how much power you're sending to the wheels. Because when you're getting close to the top of your rev counter, I don't even know if I want to say rev, whatever, when you're getting close to the rev limiter and you're trying to, how do I want to word this? I don't really think this one through. My buddy's like, make a new video. They're like, so when you have, so when you're paying attention to, obviously, the amount of power you're getting to the wheels, it's one where you'll kind of start to pick up the little things over time. You might not notice it right away, but you'll notice the little things. You'll notice when the engine's struggling to continuously rev up. Like it doesn't have enough power to go sideways forever in that gear. And then you will shift down, and then you're immediately stacked up on top of your rev limiter, and you don't have enough power that way either. That's why when it comes to tuning drift cars, gearing is really, really crucial, because you need to make sure you're always able to be on the power band. And then there's some people who, which I don't agree with, believe that you need 1,000 horsepower in your car and just do everything in one gear. Yeah, that works, but you have so little control the second it gets a hair up its ass. So I don't know why people like to do that. So kind of going into here, I'm kind of explaining how I'm drifting. So you want to go in, and you're going to want to tap the handbrake to get the ass end to break loose, and then you're going to want to follow up on the power. And the second you do start to go sideways, you're going to want to counter steer. Holy shit, I did not realize. Why is it... What? Hold on. Did you see that? Why is like the steering wheel going like all the way around in circles? I'm sorry. Wasn't expecting that there, bud. So you're going to want to go in and counter steer. As you'll kind of see the front wheels, you're going to want them to be pointing in the direction of the steer. So kind of like if you're driving in real life and you are sliding on ice, you want to steer in the direction of the slide to regain control. Kind of the same thing with drifting. However, you're wanting it to stay stuck sideways. That's the trick. You need to learn how far to steer the wheel and when it's okay to crank on it, because cranking on it isn't always the answer. And there's also, you got to keep in mind, throttle control. Full throttle does not always mean sideways. Sometimes that means backwards, sideways, forward, sideways, backwards, sideways, forward. You need to be careful on all that. Now, there's other things to keep in mind if you do drive manual with clutch. Because that's how I race. I just leave it on that way for drifting because it's just easier for me that way. Yet, when you're in a lower horsepower car and it doesn't have the ability to just kick the ass end out on the throttle alone, that's when you'd want to use that handbrake. But on a manual clutch, there's a problem with that. And I'll show you up here. So let's say I want to kick the ass end out. You'd stall out the engine because you're taking the engine from whatever RPM it's at and forcing it to go down to 0. Like watch on the left here. So I'm doing 100 miles an hour. Okay? And I want to initiate a drift. I know we're in a straight line, but I want to initiate a drift. So I hold the handbrake. You have that pause before the power is available. So if you do handbrake and clutch at the same time, you can keep on the rev limiter, keeping all that power available no matter what you're doing. So it's hard to really show how to do that while I'm doing it, but yeah, there's a whole lot of things you can kind of pick up and learn over time. And little things over time can kind of make or break you. But overall, one of the things you just really want to concentrate on is not necessarily how steep of an angle you get, because steepness of the angle isn't everything. It's also speed. But you don't want to go too fast either. It's a fine line on that. Because that right there, I wasn't going fast enough, or I was oversteering. So that was, a little bit of both there. But control is the kind of the essence here. So let's say you're going around this corner, right? You kind of see where the car's pointing, you kind of see where the ass end's going. Well, let's say, hold on. Let's say you're going around this drift and you're right here, right? This is you smoking, everything's going crazy. Let's do this real quick. So let's just pretend there's a big, huge line of smoke right behind you and you're drifting around this corner, right? Looks fantastic, cutting an amazing corner, everything like that. You can't think of it as you're aiming like this. You have to think of it as you're aiming at a 45-degree angle. So if you're aiming like this, this is the direction your car wants to go. If you want it to turn this way, you got to kick that ass end out a little bit more. If you want it to go wider, or, pick up more speed or not slow down as much, you're going to want to not be as aggressive of an angle and take the car and kick it in this way, because then you're going to want to go further out that way. If that makes any more sense. Because I used to get into this habit a lot. You used to be, bumper focused. You're like, okay, the car's facing this way. That means I need to do this much steering to keep it this way. Oh God, I don't know. That happens. I know that was some scientific explanation right there. I know, it's so fucking great. So one of the things I would like to try here with you guys is to actually set a goal for you. So to take this car, default everything. No tune, no drivetrain, just the 2009 Corvette ZR1 and this track. And we'll go and kind of like set self-help milestones. Like if you're doing the trainers on some of those older games, you know, they gave you the bronze, silver, gold, you know, like, hey, you did it, but you could do better. We'll do something like that for you guys. So I would say a good start, we're going to do a whole lap. A whole lap, and kind of focus on throttle control and how aggressive you need to steer. Obviously, we don't really need to focus too much on the whole I'm better than you type of shit, but the whole I don't know how I want to word that. I just woke up. I'm sorry. I'm really tired. You can't tell by my face. Let me fucking hear your mic. So we'll set the benchmark here at, for bronze, what would be a respectable lap for bronze? I would say for the new and upcomer, a respectable lap for bronze would be 10,000 points in your first lap. Like that's a respectable score if you've never tried drifting before and this is the first video you've watched on how to drift. And I know I didn't cover a lot of the whole how-to so much as like some of you guys might have expected, but this is going to be a series. This is going to be one where each episode is going to get more and more in-depth, and I'm going to go over one of the things that you can look for while tuning, and then you can talk about with me on some of the other stuff as far as drifting goes. But feel free to go ahead and check out my Discord as well, because if you check out my Discord, I'll be more than happy to help you with any drift videos. But going back to the scores here, I would say a respectable score for, you know, fresh out of the gate, green driver, no real idea of how to drift, but is trying it. I would say 10,000 points is respectable. 10,000 points is doable. Now, for the person who's been drifting a little bit but wants to improve and doesn't know where to start, well, you found a place to start. Start right here, about however long ago it was when you started this video. And I would say for you, I would say 20,000. No, I'm going to say 18,000. 18,000 points for silver, because that's something where you've been drifting a little bit, but you're just trying to get better. And for the people who have been drifting a while, but, you know, are always trying to improve, I would set the bar a little bit higher for you guys. I want to see 27,000. And, you know, those would be the benchmarks. If you can hit the 27,000 and you're fresh out of the gate, hopefully it was me who was helping you a little bit. Otherwise, who are you, Mario Andretti? Come on. No one's that good out the gate. I wasn't. Dude, I was shit out the gate, but because I actually really enjoyed doing it, I kind of started to learn and pick up things, and I didn't see any videos that were really great as a series on how to educate people. I just picked up little things here and there from people in chat lobbies while racing and drifting with them. So I kind of wanted to make an actual, like, explanatory drift series for you guys, because there's just not any good ones out there. Now I know some of you guys are gonna be like, you didn't get any of the technical thing. Dude, it's my first episode of this, okay? I plan on having a whole string of series until, you know, I'm satisfied that I have told you everything that there is to possibly help you in becoming a drifting god. Alright? So, recap. Bronze. If you are able to get 10,000 points, hooah! You got some fucking bronze. If you got 18,000,
Holy shit! You're fucking silver there, bud. Oh, fucking shit.
and then remember what I said for goal. 27,000. Let's just go with 27,000. Fuck what I said before. I hope it's the same. 27,000. All right. I hope. Maybe. I don't know. But I'll also throw in my little 2 cents here. Go ahead, post whatever you got in the comments below, or if you have any questions, let me know. Then go ahead and kick that like button in the face if you feel like this is going to help you, and definitely click that subscribe button if you want to see more of the videos on how to help drift.
If you want to help drift your score up.
Fucking plenty. But go ahead, check out the links in the description. I have a link to my Discord. You can get some video notifications there. Check out the gang. We're pretty cool guys. We're pretty cool here, guys. It's fucking lit there, buddy. And yeah, so yeah, that's a thing here, buddy. But I'm also gonna just kind of put that little icing on the cake. I'm curious to see how many people would be able to beat my best score. Now, obviously, I don't score as high while I'm talking to you guys because I'm focusing on not sounding like a retard. Where it's like,
I did ya. Oh, that's a good one. Oh God. Oh, I did ya. What's he talking about? I don't know. Don't hate me.
so because I'm trying to not do that, I don't drift as well. But I got a 38,000 point lap doing some testing to see if this is the best track I wanted to start off on. This is just my home turf, man. I love this fucking track. It's so easy to feel the car out. But yeah, go ahead, kick that lick button. Did I just say lick button?
Lick that like button and kick it in the face. Yeah.
Anyway, stay tuned for more videos on how to drift. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm fucking tired here, bud. Holy shit. Alright, Purple Derp signing out. Goodbye.